The Greatest Deficiency, The King of All Deficiencies, copyright 2009 by Ed McCabe, which is copyright 1967. This might be the most important thing I ever publish. This never publicly revealed by me facts of our human situation are squarely under my mental, emotional, and spiritual balance, crown jewels of health. To be single-pointed, I always left this information out of my public works, so more of you would only focus on the safe, proven oxygen and mineral therapies. It is now time for you to know the rest of your story. I started searching and discovering truth in earnest when I once left my body and flew around the room a long time ago. I was amazed I had confirmed I was actually not only my body. Many years later, I hit the international lecture trail and got to know well a handful of contactees, some known, some unknown, all from different places, all physically being visited for over 20 years by different ET races, and none of them knew each other. It was a nice sample. Their mentors all taught them the same ancient history of Earth, different races telling the same story, about how our ancestors were created as a slave race of gold miners, suffering terribly. But we've evolved into who we are after the flood. I found lies on my DNA from my ancestors, in our minds, lies in our unconscious programs, lies in our societies, our cultures, and religions. I kept digging through them to sift out the hidden in plain sight facts. Facts that the majority watching may find completely incredible, and perhaps even dismiss without any examination. As far as I understand currently, here is my summary opinion of our original and current situation before disinformation and cover-ups confused and hid it all. Everyone has always only known the corrupted and twisted versions of truth, because your teachers only knew the corrupted truth, because their teachers and their teachers' teachers all only knew what they were taught. All of it is and was purposely manipulated and full of deception, to keep you from ever discovering and escaping your enslavement and control. Why is it so hard for some people to heal? I'll explain as we go along, but the answer to why some people do not heal easily begins with the full, deep understanding of this one statement. If you have any thoughts, feelings, or emotions, your spirit is still trapped in time, and you don't have full access to its healing powers. Knowing what's really been going on here is the first step to breaking free by recognizing and clearing out the embedded frauds, deeply embedded frauds. And unlike the questionable voices in people's heads coming from who knows where, I personally, humanly acquired the suppressed knowledge from voluminous research, interviews, experiences, and experiments. I have always known there was much more. Unlike everybody else I meet, I am compelled to constantly look behind and beyond everything. Many very special people magically appeared in my life to help educate me, and I thank them. You might call what I learned the hidden secret of life on Earth, what your parents and teachers were not taught, and on purpose. I can already hear a few groan and switch off. But wait, what will it hurt to listen? It's not you, but your programmed mind energy implants that pull at you to turn away from this message. Your slave programming was automatically activated when your unknowing and unbelieving was threatened by this new information. The programming is so cleverly locked into your mind system, as your mind system, that you unquestionably think these reactions are actually your own thoughts and feelings. This is a slaver security measure to protect the prison from discovery and to keep the people away from the fence. Not gods, but ancient, more advanced, yet still only created beings are the creators, designers, and controllers of our layers of existence here. They never wanted a human behind to see the actual reality of the dimensions of the Earth. Because if a human being ever did actually leave their body and find out what was going on, then a human's whole enslavement and control manifestation within this existence would be threatened. And this is the last thing the intergalactic slavers desired or wanted. Why am I telling you all this? You need this to completely heal. The control game has always been to keep the people divided and confused and therefore powerless. So you won't believe what's being said. That's the division. Let's identify the main players here. There are the forces of good and evil and their representatives, or minions, and we, the lowly humans, caught in between these two enormous forces. What is our present condition? We humans are obviously the battleground in the duality. We find ourselves located somewhere between the two extremes of incredible beauty and terrible suffering. Either extreme could happen to us at any moment. Our biggest problem is the invading and corrupting darkness energy and the darkness controlling imposters. Imposters posing as almost perfectly as representing the good. Creation. Where did everything come from? From the unmanifest source of everything. This source of everything we come from is inconceivable to our puny biomechanical brains. The story goes, as the original source created the original creation, a selfish anomaly we now call evil or darkness occurred. It is believed evil stemmed from this celestial experimental error, an anomaly that would not correct itself. The source gave this errant offspring almost endless unconditional divine love and life energy, hoping it would heal and correct itself. But darkness would not take any divine correction. Instead, it selfishly took the loving source energy, thrived on this corrective energy, and used it to further spread its dark influence. It is not the source, but the anomalous mutant expression we call darkness energy that is controlled and corrupted. The source, the unmanifest, is the only permanence, and it remains uncorrupted. Everything comes from the unmanifest source. Nothing is self-sustaining that is manifesting from the source, meaning everything only exists because the source maintains it. Only the source itself is eternal and perpetual. Our spirits were created by 12 aspects of source, energy, blending together. Judgment is the hallmark and start of darkness. The evil, or darkness, could only see other creations like itself. But they are all only expressions, or the shiny baubles, from the source, because the unmanifest naturally cannot be seen. It's unmanifest. Darkness incorrectly judged that since the creation, the mere expression, could be seen, then darkness must be the ultimate itself. The unmanifest is so eternally and lovingly hands-off patient that darkness forgot that without its source it could not exist, because it was only one more expression of that source. You see, darkness is lost in time, so it forgot. What happened to us? As created beings, we were exploring creation, and the same dark judgment question spread. Since we can't see the unmanifest source, maybe it doesn't exist? Some created ET beings were severely corrupted by the darkness energies, making them feel afraid they didn't already have enough. They conspired to control everybody else, to create and trap our ancestors as slaves mining gold, to be worshipped by our ancestors as God, and to have slaves, especially female slaves, and to hide everything from us. The Anunnaki ETs created artificial time, slave worlds, and dimensions, and populated them with artificial slave bodies. Our ancestors, like us, we are our ancestors, were especially programmed with the desire and need for getting direction and control from somebody else, so they would always be a good slave to others in power and control. I have to have it. Everybody else has it. Direction and control by the herd. It's the programming of the people. Using stealth and advanced alien energy and consciousness technology, the Anunnaki, Sirians, serpents, and other ETs selfishly captured all the interdimensional spirits they could. We had never experienced an attack, so we had no defenses or awareness of the possibility. We trusted. Our true light in the now simply does not recognize darkness in time. because it's in the now, so the darkness is not real to our light. Because we are hypnotized spirits and programmed as a mixture of the light and dark, this affects us greatly. They enslaved us in this world mind and judgment consciousness system through implanting lower mind systems in us and connecting them within the unified consciousness. The unified consciousness system is our local reality that has been created by the mind. Our very world is an interactive mind projection system that we live in that interacts with us by reflecting back to us our so-called reality. Why else did the slavers trap us? Well, our spirits, residently embedded into our human biosuit bodies, constantly power the generation and emoting of emotional and mind darkness energy. Invisible beings, ETs, and other energetic parasites actually suck up this energy, this life force, to sustain their own existence and keep us enslaved, since they have no divine spirit of their own to sustain them. They have to parasitically live off of us. We are able to know the difference. When we look very closely, and when our spirits are sufficiently re-empowered and sufficiently unhypnotized, we can easily see the dark in-time imitations as poor copies, without any divine spark. What have we given up? Always being happy and peaceful, freely going anywhere we want, exploring without restraint, manipulation, or control by bodies or minds. We gave up being above time and living in the now, without any past or future deluding us. We gave up enjoying the eternal present in creativity and exploration. What is the main activity of good, the true light? Well, to create us, and then support us, as we benevolently use our free will, allowing and helping each other create and explore the creation. The unmanifest is our powerhouse, our inner essence. Divine true light expresses from within us, through our individualized spirits living deep in our hearts. What's the main activity of darkness? Well, darkness's sole objective is to draw us into illusionary time and intensify our trapping and enslavement through the mind, through the unified consciousness field as the world system, and to never stop corrupting everything it can, to wear us out and wear us down until we give our will over to darkness because we're so beaten up. That's how it grows, while taking our light to power its enslavement and expansion activities. What about discerning good and evil? A simple explanation is that the source's true light of creation has been deemed good by the unmanifest, and so long as the light tends towards purity, it is self-sustaining, because by striving towards purity, it automatically connects itself to the unmanifest source. To heal, strive toward purity in all things. That sustains your spirit healing energy. You need to heal. Any impure activity drains your spirit and biosuit body energy away from you. And of course, it feeds the control tighter. The pure love ultimate source, unmanifest Father, loves all its children without judgment. So it doesn't interfere with their choices, our choices, even the bad ones. It allows us all to exist as it created us, and as we are creating ourselves. Since you created everything in your life, it assumes you still want it that way, even if you don't. That's why you have to request change from your own spirit inside you. Stop blaming God for tragedies and other terrible things forced upon you by other created beings. The invisible ETs set up the negative game and entrapped you in the artificial system that controls and hurts you and your family and friends. God, why did you kill the innocent child? This doesn't exist. But even in the gift of freedom and being unconditionally loved and left free, that can end. If creation is threatened enough by a dangerous mutant offspring incapable of correcting. This is happening. The mutant dark offspring incapable of correction is afraid, and its fears drive it to enslave and take away all the other offspring's free will, our free will. So it cannot endure. The life force is being withdrawn from darkness, and its spiritless minions slowly, to preserve as much true light creation as possible during the separation and pruning. Evil is so bad it destroys itself. When the true light is not available, darkness eats itself to survive, starting with those who use its dark mutant energy. Without the source expressing it, or vampirism of us available as a power substitute, it must dissolve. The rescue mission underway accomplishes the freeing of all true light beings who are not completely trapped in the corrupting darkness, if they choose it. Where are we? Unfortunately, we truly believe we are living in the lower end of the consciousness and dimensional scales, here on Earth. Our spirits, our true light selves, are trapped in and powering this holographic prison. How did we get here? We were trusting and invaded by darkness. After it invaded created beings, intergalactic and interdimensional slavers wiped our memories and put us here by using super advanced technology. We were thumbed down, dumbed down by the conspirators, mainly the now invisible to us aforementioned ancient Anunnaki, Syrian, and Serpent ET races. We are now heavily programmed to think that this is all there is, as we impotently age, suffer, and die chasing nonsense for the negative ETs and their parasites. Once we lived only in the now. Presently our awareness is spread out along a dense timeline of duality and physical matter. Some call it 3D, the third dimension, where you probably spend your time guilty about the past and in fear of the future. This always robs you of the now, all part of the systems and programming. What is the spirit being fought over? Our true selves deep inside us, the real us. Spirit with a capital S means the real divine life, us, not the mere discarded emotional haunting shells of a corpse that people call ghosts or small s spirits. Divine true light, our spirit, only operates in truth and outside of time in the divine now. Our spirit does not judge and respects all free will. It sees all imperfection, and that's why we have to ask it to help us. It is pure, unconditional love. Our invisible, powerful spirit is what powers everything, including our healing energy. What are we? Who are we? We are the essences of the true light, interdimensional spirits, perfect and complete, the offspring of our unmanifest Father, and we have its, her qualities, infinite patient love, creativity, free will, and inner direction. Our spirits are not physical. They are not in the dimension of time or duality like we are, so we cannot see them with our earthly eyes. Our spirits are eternal and incapable of dying or being drained or depleted. Suffering, fatigue, pain, and earthly death are the ultimate very real to us control illusions. But if you die, that which dies is not real. Our spirits never die, and we can become them again. Where's your spirit located? Where do you feel the reflection called love? In your heart. Using the book most talked about around me as I grew up as an example, uncorrupted parts of the Bible refer to the ultimate creator as Father. Also, Corinthians 13 says God is in the temple, and then our body is the temple. Our actual spirit enters us as much as it can from a higher frequency into our heart area, and spreads out from there throughout the body, giving us life. It lives deep in our energetic hearts, coming in through our heart's interdimensional gateway. Using our free will to instruct our spirit to purify ourselves in the now, by clearing out mind and judgment energies, we can enlarge our spirit's presence and reach throughout us. Spirit versus mind. Our spirit's nemesis is the mind. Our minds are the tools of darkness that we were forced to use, as they keep the illusion going. The big secret not taught anywhere is that our mind energy competes with our spirit for space in our bodies. This is where the corruption of truth and the disinformation starts, over this very real, actual, physical problem of true light and false light literally competing over our bodily real estate. The dark wants to trap our spirit and mind energy and live off it, to steal our energy, literally taking pieces out of our spirits to power its parasitic in-time existence. Darkness fools the spirit and takes pieces of it deeper and deeper into the darkness dimensions, if it can. However, with work, spirit can clean us out. and find, heal, and retrieve stolen portions of itself, and spread out from the gateway into the heart area, and to finally encompass the whole body and return to wholeness. Your rate and amount of healing. The more spirit in us, naturally, the brighter we are, and the faster we heal. The lesser our light, the more we are easily damaged, and the more easily we end up damaging others. Specific dark areas in us prevent specific healings. If you've got some real tough thing that nothing can get to, it's probably because the darkness is centered right in that area. That has to be cleaned out. With only enough physicality to manifest as an individual, as spirit we exist only in the now. We are explorers, and there are endless worlds to explore, once we are free again. How does darkness use us? Darkness has intelligence. It is mind energy. It forces us to create and use mind energy. It operates in time, in its created illusions and duality, in false light, posing as true light. It respects nothing. It uses human activity as food. It seeks more followers by holding out the fraudulent promise of ending the suffering it is causing in the first place. Pretty good scam, huh? Darkness gives us the problems and then convinces humans its representatives are God or fantastic healers by eliminating the problems it is forcing upon us. But it has zero loyalty to anybody ever, especially its followers. It spreads its influence as much as possible. It weakens humans to get further inside them. It preys on our weaknesses. It is putrid evil. Humans have called it and its minions and converts many names over the ages, and they commonly induce us to create the darkness energy with our obsessions: beauty, glamour, status, enrichment, enlightenment, power, and our lust, greed, anger, gluttony, sadness, avarice, sloth, pride, envy, ego, violence, betrayal, control, and vanity, just to name a few. They are all centered around the lie: you are better than or inferior to somebody else. Since we, as our ancestors' spirits, were first trapped and brainwashed, here's how the game is always played. You start out almost 100% spirit when you're born, but without let-up, darkness keeps deep programming into you the need to chase outside things before you can be happy. This is what everybody thinks. I've got to get it. Then the system's programs inside and outside of you necessitate you make compromises to get these outside things. You do unfulfilling jobs, you stay in bad relationships, or you lie, cheat, or steal, convinced this will finally somehow bring you your somehow always just out of reach desire. Your spirit is ignored because you're too busy chasing right now. Oh, I don't have time for worrying about my spirit. I gotta blah, blah, blah. But you need and heck deserve a break from the pressure of all this unfulfillment. So you drink, you do dope, you eat chocolate, maybe to an obsessive level, and or have that affair. But this only sinks you deeper into entanglement. So you have less spirit, covered in a dense dark fog, and you have lost your connection with it, the only thing that would fulfill you. That's a pretty clever scam, isn't it? Lock you in tighter, and make sure you emote more suffering food for the darkness to live off of. The more you allow yourself to participate in these activities, these reactive behaviors, the more you become them, and you ingrain yourself within them. Resonance. Notice how actually more like this. Notice how the deeper you are ingrained in them, the more they all somehow magically become somebody else's fault. And the less it is yours. Fact is, we are all responsible for everything around us in this world. You are responsible for your disease, the war, the government, the pollution, and the starvation. Because these are things inside us that are all balled up and express themselves around us. Of course, programs and systems create them. Hidden darkness. What is our major problem here on Earth? The real problem we face here on Earth is that we think we are free to choose. We can't see how our thoughts and emotions as programs inserted from outsiders are all the problems. We are unaware that we are already literally prisoners in these human bodies. We think we have free will, yet we have no idea how deep the yoke of control weaves throughout absolutely every single aspect of our earthly lives, and makes the slaves react to programs, stimulations, and situations. We are trapped here in time. By force or fraud, we were integrated into the bio-psychic, mechanical, energetic mind system of continual birth, death, and forced no-exit reincarnation. We have been over and over reintegrated into bodies and forced into powering these very limited body spacesuits until they wear out naturally. They're physical. They wear out. They get polluted, as I teach you, and they wear out. Then after the fraud of death, our powerful but non-judgmental and deluded, unfortunately, habituated and controlled spirits need periods recharging outside of the phony physicality. That's supposedly the afterlife. The Anunnaki created so-called heavenly masters, angels, and guides, forced us back here into the physical again and again and again, telling us the lies that we must learn, and we need to work on unsolvable karma, so we will continue emoting energy food for darkness while trapped here on Earth. Because the invisible darkness elements and beings and other energetic parasites living in and on our biosuits can't mooch life energy directly off the source, we are trapped, programmed, and stimulated to continually be emoting it for them. Our spirits have been made their prisoners in this artificial limited hologram. They wipe our memories and program us to know that we need to evolve, searching through endless suffering, life after life, to earn the right to reach God, which never happens. We already are perfect. After all, they say, isn't the proof you are imperfect all around you? That you are even here in the first place? And that without exception you must all suffer, get sick, get old, and die. Isn't that proof enough? Pretty smooth words, pressuring us to trying to explain away our torture. This necessary to suffer claim is the center of the big fraud, and most people have been programmed strongly to believe it religiously, and will defend against heretics of this belief. Religion is a basic belief in something created outside of us that is not real. Program deception is what we've fallen for. Like the majority here corrupted by darkness, many of our trapped true light beings also erroneously perceive something in this lesser expression as the ultimate, because the false light imitates the true light. 99.999% of the time, you can think that you've reached the thing and you haven't. Leaders tell us, endure a life of suffering, for your rewards come after death. The real meaning? Be a good, quiet slave, while we shift the blame for your torture off of us and onto a God. Your present awareness. The truth is, even though we can hardly believe it by looking through our corrupted, programmed biosuit system's eyes, if we take away the hypnotic programs and systems, you would instantly, easily know and see that we were and are forever already created perfect in the first place. Not these bodies, not us here. Our spirits are perfect in the first place, who we really are. We don't need ancestral judgment-filled DNA controlling us, or directions on how to be coming from outside of us. And we definitely do not need any suffering to evolve to where we already are, but are merely hypnotized out of. Every time you catch yourself strongly thinking or feeling you don't know enough, or you don't have enough, or this always happens, or I deserve it, or they deserved it, and similar things, step back and say, I don't care how strong I'm really thinking or feeling this. My spirit would never diminish me or harm another. So this must be programming of thinking and feeling. That's how you start to break out. Your spirit would never hurt you or anybody else. Anything else? Programming. The earth experiences were designed to be one lifetime, so spirit could learn of density and leave. By invading this world with its slavers, darkness saw earth could be turned into a permanent prison by having the slavers install all these dark mind control systems and programs and artificial bodies and hierarchies in the invisible worlds. What we need now is to clear out our parasites and implants, to release all of our judgments and all of our traumas and densities, so we can come into wholeness and leave this darkness-corrupted plane of existence. Did someone say, that's ridiculous, the world is real? Well, can you see radio waves, TV waves, cell phone waves? Are they real? Can you touch them, feel them, smell them? We're convinced this place is real by such things as our so seemingly real programmed sense systems of sight, smelling, hearing, and touch, our pains and diseases, birth and death. All a scam. We're also convinced by our leaders, the heavenly angels, saints, masters, artificial gods, their white light, and the corrupted ancient sacred writings, the voices in people's heads, and the corrupted ETs and their messages and federations, whether they all know they were corrupted or spiritless creations or not. There is no enlightenment or sainthood to achieve, only more understanding. We already are perfect in our true selves. This fascinating hypnotic passion play rivets our attention, but takes place only in our controlled artificial body minds. Some dreams seem really, really real, don't they? An example, there is no real out-of-the-body astral travel. People doing so are only accessing mind copies of existence placed in the programmed copy fantasy of the mind and in the unconscious mind. They are not allowed into reality, which is accessible only with our spirit, only through our loving heart's interdimensional gateway, never through the mind. Doesn't happen. So, until darkness is all cleaned out, how does all this keep us from healing? By keeping us from ever learning that we are still slaves. Then we'll never discover we have spirit losses, or how to prevent them. Our powerful but see no evil hypnotized spirits trapped in these bodies are being assaulted constantly. So much so that we are absolutely completely convinced that this is all there is, even though we all know there must be a better place somewhere. We just can't quite remember where. We unconsciously sense and miss our real spirit, the home inside us, and we really know something's really not right, so we try to numb it out, the homesickness, along with our other pains, our other daily pains. People drink, do dope, fight, overeat, fall in love, have affairs, live in video games, or create empires, violence and wars, or do any activity that totally locks in our attention and addicts us to these spirit-numbing addictive activities. They're all our desires. Buddha was right. Get rid of the desires, the cause of all suffering. We are programmed to secretly feel we are not really good enough to go home to the outside us God. So we punish ourselves. Actually, we were just following the darkness instructions, forcing us to stay in unwinnable conflict all the time so we can emote for them on schedule. And the demons tell us God is outside us and do it. Of course, engaging in these spirit-depleting or coarse, painful, and based-in-time energies hurts our spirit. So parts of it jump out of our bodies to get away from the pain as fast as possible, further making us weaker and at the mercy of this world. However, this process can be reversed. We can heal and return our spirit to ourselves. By the way, the designed to be inescapable game here is so rigged that even our pleasant emotions feed ETs, but luckily they don't drive our spirits away. To unbe the host for the parasites, we must completely get out of the illusion. deficiencies. We have already identified that ultimately all illness comes from a deficiency of some sort. Would it be any surprise then to find out that the most deficient part of you is actually Y-O-U-U? Your greatest deficiency is actually you, your own missing pieces and portions of your own missing spirit. But you don't know this, by design and evil purpose. Funny how you were never told about this, even by the best of the teachers. Without 100% of our spirit inside our bodies, we may or may not have enough life force energy necessary to heal. I told you our spirit can't stand the harsh energies here. So although we're born with a large percentage of our spirit inside our bodies, every time we are hurt, part of the spirit leaves. This means by age 10, we may only have about 25% of our original spirit left inside us. Babies are full of life energy, and that's one reason why children heal the quickest, shine full of love, and they don't judge us. The elderly are depleted and heal slower. The energy voids in our bodies, created by the missing parts of our spirits, easily fill in with implants and darknesses like entities, tiny energetic parasites, critters, leftover emotional body shells of dead people, our own shadow bodies we create with our negativity, or ET shapeshifters. We further dilute our own spirit energy by prayer, or meditation, or doing groundings, trying to heal the earth, which needs no one to be healing it. It needs to be left alone. Or any other activity where we use our mind to send our energy outside our bodies. Our huge earth spirit has suffered from centuries of humans using their minds to open portals that negativity and dark beings flood in through. There are plenty of invisible to us negative ETs hanging around, only too happy to gobble up our projected pools of thought. They protect them, and life force energy, and use them to live on, and to manipulate us. What you pray to, you are PREY for, due to the energy coupling or cordings created residently. Be honest, not hopeful. As outgoing bundles of energy, how do you really know where your prayers go and end up? You can't see them arrive. Someone could put an image into your mind as you transmit, but you still do not see their actual arrival. The only thing you can be sure of is that you projected them out with your mind. Go inside the heart instead. Stay in your body. Ask any child where God is and they point up. Up is clouds, satellites, and stars. So we are programmed very easily and very early on to feed thoughts into systems outside of us. To make us good slaves, prime, strong programming was placed in each of us. The absolute need for guidance and leadership from God or masters or higher forces, all greater than us and outside of us. So we require mercy from them and fear them. Bow your heads in prayer. You shall feel the wrath of, etc. Of course, the real subliminal message for us to absorb is that we are all unequal and unworthy. So don't even dare think about breaking out and achieving the high status that you already are. Notice this is such a strongly programmed part of the unreal body-mind that we don't even question it. Do you ever get small in front of an authority figure? Real divinity touches hearts from within. That is how one can connect with the divine as our spirit, located in the interdimensional gateway deep in our hearts. So, keeping this awareness, how does this play out here, preventing us from being able to heal? Darkness is right now invisibly stealing our light to keep itself alive, and our choices and clearings determine how much of our protective spirit we have in our bodies. And we can add to it or take away from it by our actions, thoughts, words, and deeds. Remember, darkness actively seeks to corrupt our choices to the point where we become so conditioned that we are its slaves. The more we suffer, the more emotional and mental energy we emote that darkness and its minions have to eat and to live in and on. They are increasing the suffering here in time by necessity because they are running out of life force because they're being cut off from the real source. What can you do? Hopefully you now get the big picture idea. Recognize the problem, fix it. Choose the true light inside you instead of the mind all day long. Forgiveness of self and others is powerful. Declare, I now forgive myself for allowing myself to, and insert your bad deed or bad thought or whatever. Declare out loud you forgive each of everyone else too, even when you feel you can't. Changing the situation by giving it lots of love from your heart, you love the problem into no longer being separate from love. Why? Because the situation as is just dead weight, and their spirits, who they really are, would never have done that to you if they were not also so deluded and controlled like we are. Remember this one? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. He was speaking plainly about darkness being and clouding all minds here, including the invisible but corrupted themselves, ETs pledged to protect him and us. This is what he meant. Protect yourself, but keep forgiving and loving the offenders, no matter how stupid it feels, especially the worst offenders. Watch for change as you lift out of judgment and into love, your natural state. Judgment was the start of all our separation. Keep your energy. Start by deciding to not give your spirit away. Examine what in your life you support that could be released. Strive towards purity. Ask your spirit for help. Do not dilute yourself by projecting your spirit out or leaking it away and giving it to somebody or something else. Darkness wants to keep you busy up in the mind, and that keeps you out of your heart and away from your spirit, the whole point. And since our own biosuit awareness is already part of the illusion, we might find benefit if we find someone knowledgeable in these issues who is not greater than us, but just less habituated, a clearing healer, able to help you get in touch with your spirit and to help you with cleaning out the stored darkness inside yourself. It is so controlled and corrupted here. Nothing is exempt. Realize this. Isn't it funny how your present teachers and leaders and ET mouthpieces never mentioned any of this stuff to you? They and their hopefully sincere but unknowing, vainglorious minds are integrated as part of the control. Even with the best of their sincere but unknowing, good-hearted intentions, they are deluded and dangerous leaders. Who has not heard, pray harder, pray for them, pray for yourself? We all have to suffer, my son. Earth Spirit needs our help. You are beautiful light workers. It was a holy bombing. We need genital mutilation. Sacrifice the virgin. It's a righteous war. God is pleased. God is on our side. Pledge yourself to. All these things are activities outside yourself that you should get involved in, according to them. The best healer I know is Ron Amatron from Creation Lightship. Working with him, I don't even have cravings and emotions I formerly had to overcome for many, many years. Here's Ron when we first met, his Creation Lightship Healing logo, and the website creationlightship.com. What else can you do on your own from your heart? Command your own missing spirit portions back into your body with what we call now commands. Since your spirit only works in the now and never in the time matrix, we must address it only in the now with the word now. Say these commands from your heart. Saying them out loud makes them come from the heart. Repeat them every chance you have, as often as you can, until you get results, and then keep on. 10 times a day is a start. A day without talking with your spirit is a day turning away from it and supporting the darkness mind energies instead. At first, you will have to repeatedly train your spirit to listen to you, and that you are finally serious, only because you've been up in your mind ignoring it your whole life. With enough practice, we can actually talk with our spirits, but be sure the response rises up out of your heart, not from inside your head. Imagine your heart has ears and a mouth, if that helps. Keep in mind, life force is spirit. First, the mind drop. Consciously drop yourself out of your mind. Move your awareness slowly out of your mind down deep into your heart. Count backwards from 10 to 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, slowly as you do this. And then from your heart, try these or create your own declarations. Declare out loud. Number 1, I now increase my life force energy. Number 2, I now release all darkness attached to or structured as my physical or invisible bodies. Number 3, I now disconnect from all cordings and parallel lifetimes. Oh yeah, there's phony Earths they send you to. Number 4, I now retrieve and heal any missing parts of my spirit. 5, I now command my body and my spirit to only be in this present lifetime right now. So have fun with it. There's lots of things you can do. Mostly, drop the darkness. If you drop it and clean it out of yourself, you naturally will rise up to your normal state of being, which is pure love, as created by the ultimate source. Have fun and happy oxygen.